Irris, Israelis are preparing to mark Passover, but it's likely to be, at best, a muted celebration this year.
Yes, last night, that is exactly right, Oliver. Last night was the first night, it was the big Passover meal. And in many houses, in many homes across the country, it was a bitter Passover, I'd have to say. Passover is the founding story of the Jewish people, the journey from slavery to freedom, God intervening to free the Jewish people, make them into a people. Let my people go. And all those thoughts, of course, when there are something like 130 hostages held inside the Gaza Strip. No idea of how many of them are alive. It's now 200 days today that they have been held hostage, 200 days since the October 7th attacks by Hamas into Israel from Gaza. So all of those things together made the celebrations bitter, and many people had an empty chair for the hostages. They set a place for them in their own personal homes to mark their absence and to mark the fact, I think, that in Israeli terms, until the hostages are returned, this war will not be over.
And the United Nations has given its qualified support to its refugee agency for Palestine, UNRWA, with the publication of Catherine Colonna's report. But Israel is not happy with the report's findings. Can you tell us more about the reaction there?
Yes, I mean, it's a slightly muted reaction because it is a holiday. But the report it's not an investigation, it's a review. So if people brought evidence to it, the report considered it. Three Scandinavian human rights organisations appointed by the United Nations, headed by Catherine Colonna, and they had a very bureaucratic solution to UNRWA's problems: increasing oversight, increasing transparency, improving vetting procedures. But they concluded, as you said earlier, that it was indispensable to the Palestinians at the moment in the present condition that they live in. So because of that, because it didn't deal with the allegations, because according to the Palestinians and according to this review, Israel didn't present sufficient evidence to back up its allegations of people in UNRWA being involved in atrocities, I think other than those 12 who it named initially and whom the UN fired. All of this means that the few responses that I've seen coming out of Israel are disappointment. They call it a whitewash. They say it didn't go far enough. But Palestinians say it did. It is a review. It did the job that was needed. And now is the time for the donor nations who held back the funds to resume funding UNRWA. By the way, I just have to say, it's not an ordinary UN organisation. It's within the UN and outside it. So it's dependent on donations from UN organisations. So the $450 million that was withheld, the donors put their hands into their pockets over and above what they donate to the United Nations usually. And that's what the Palestinians now want, and the United Nations now want to return to UNRWA.
Irris Makler in Jerusalem, thank you very much.